As a child, one of the things that most impacted me about the family business, or one of the memories that I most have, is really just how difficult a business it was. I can remember my father traveling a lot. I was born and raised in Miami. I'm the first generation of the Cuban families born in Miami. So I can remember my father being gone a lot. I can remember the trials and tribulations, hearing about maybe the difficulty in a crop or the difficulty in a particular curing barn going up in flames, some of the changes in the business. And in fact, one of the things I most remember ultimately is the fact that my father always said to me that it was a dying business, meaning that the older generation were smoking cigars, handmade cigars, but not the younger generation, not the 20, 30, and 40-year-old men. And so I look back now and I say, you know, what a thrill it is for me to be in this business, because I never once thought as I was growing up that I would be. It was the stories that I would hear, it was the trials and tribulations of my father, but I didn't know that I would have the opportunity someday in the future to join him and to join this business. So, you know, there's a lot of passion in this business. What my father, his generation, my grandfather, and all these men did, whatever success that the Carlos Torano family is enjoying today is 100% a result of our family's past. It's a result of my great-grandfather, Santiago Torano, making the decision back in 1916 to grow tobacco in Cuba. It's the result of the blessing that he had of 3 sons that all got into the business, including my grandfather, Carlos Torano, who continued in their father's tradition. It's a result of my father then, when his father passed away, continued growing tobacco after they left Cuba, all throughout Central America. And so the story of the Carlos Torano brand today is the story of the family, is the story of what is now, I'm lucky to be the 4th generation in this business, and hope that through my son and through other family members, they're going to continue this business. So when I think of any success that we experience today, it's all as a result of our family's rich history and dedication to the tobacco industry.
Quality cigars have always been the Torano family driving principle. Given their respect for their rich heritage and traditions, they create only the best cigar blends using a variety of different tobaccos.
A cigar smoker ultimately bonds with the cigar that he's smoking. When we smoke cigars, we feel it, we look at it. Cigars are a part of some of the best moments in our lives. And so I think that the bond that people have with a brand is strengthened when they get to hear the stories that are behind what came into making that cigar, what makes that cigar different, and in our particular case, which is the history that we have in the business, but more importantly, our history. I always say, well, everybody has a history, right? The Torano family has a history, every family has a history, but I think what makes our history unique to the product that we sell is that ultimately all of the growing experience that the generations had before us, the blending experience, the manufacturing experience, all of that goes in to make the cigars we make today. So whenever we're sitting around doing what we do, blending and ultimately marketing and distributing, it's all related to our story. And because that's what we feel, and there's nothing better when you feel the customer connect to that, and it's that connection that I think is probably the most rewarding part of being in the cigar industry. Telling your story, have somebody enjoy your story, respond to it, and ultimately bond to the cigar which best represents that story. Our signature blend is our Exodus 1959. This cigar, which was rated top 5 by Cigar Aficionado in 2006, epitomizes our blending philosophy. It is a cigar with a great story, highlighting the impact that the Cuban Exodus had on all the different tobacco growing countries today, and also highlighting how we blend our cigars by including 5 different tobaccos from 5 different countries in one cigar. The Exodus cigar is rich and very complex.
Today, Carlos Sr. is approached by many people who ask him what he considers the true meaning of success to be. His answer is as candid as it is passionate.
What is success to me? Success is to live wherever you want to live, to have a choice. Success is to do what you like to do. But the maximum of success is to have your children working with you and getting along. And I could not have been any happier than when Charlie joined the company and started working with us.
So my father at a very young age said to me, Charlie, I'm going to give you the opportunity to educate yourself, and then after that, who knows? So I educated myself and I became a lawyer, and I was practicing law for 4 or 5 years. But I kept looking at my father's business, looking at the renaissance that was happening in cigars in the early 90s, and there was a pivotal dinner that we had where I lived in South Florida, where it was Mom, Dad, my wife, and I. We were talking, and I was already thinking for a little while, I'm going to talk to Dad. I'm going to talk to Dad, see if there's maybe room for me to join the business. So we had a dinner one night, and I brought up the conversation, and I said, Dad, do you think there's room for me to join the business, the family business? And I remember exactly what he said. He looked me dead in the eye, and he said, Charlie, there's not a room for you in this business. There's a need for you to come in this business if that's what you want to do. You see, my father was always afraid to kind of pluck me out of what I was doing. Again, being a lawyer, he saw that I was doing a decent job and I was enjoying it, but he didn't realize that I had kind of the same passion and the same interest until that pivotal dinner that we had that night. So for me, it was early April of 1996, and my first day, I would say, on the job in this business was June 1st, 1996.
Today, my son Charlie is at the helm of the family business. He is the fourth generation of the Torano family involved in the cigar industry. For years, he has listened to my stories and understands the legacy my grandfather has left for us to continue. Tobacco has become his life now. He has a special feeling for it. I tell him often that I am the present past. It is now the present future, his future, to take a company where it needs to go. I am very proud to have a son of mine who will carry forward the Torano name.
If you went to our office today, you're going to see a giant desk or a big desk. My father sits on one side of the desk and I sit on the other side of the desk. And so for me, when I go to work and when I sit at my desk, there's a lot of people that maybe have nice views of the ocean or have maybe even more plush offices. Our offices it's not about being plush. For me, it's the fact that I can look across the desk, see my father, work with him, and I love my dad. And so for me to have the opportunity, to share all of the things we're sharing in this journey, not only in life, but now also in the cigar business, has been the thrill of my life. And I'm grateful to cigars and to this business for giving me that opportunity.
Today, the Carlos Torano brand offers more than 10 different blends. Catering to different cigar palates, the Torano brand offers an array of flavors that will appeal to every cigar enthusiast. From the bold and complex flavors of the Exodus 1959 line to the more mild to medium blends in the Casa Torano line, every brand is different and unique in its class.
This year we're launching a cigar called Exodus 1959, 50 years. It has been 50 years since the revolution in Cuba that took all of the hard work, that took a couple generations to build, essentially took it in a year or two. But here we are 50 years from that date, celebrating through this cigar brand that we've launched, but also through getting the story out so that everybody understands out in the market. If you're hearing me in the US, every single cigar that is in every humidor is a result of that exodus that began in 1959. We're 50 years down the road, and we all of us that are not only working in the industry but smoking cigars, owe a huge debt of gratitude to those families, of which the Torano family was one of them, that when they left Cuba, continued to work hard, continued to drive, and dedicated themselves to essentially starting over and recreating the cigar industry that we enjoy today. And so our new brand, Exodus 50 Years, really is a celebration of that hard work, of our family, but also broadly of the entire cigar industry. I hope you've enjoyed the story of our family. It's a story that on behalf of the Torano family, Dad and I hope that it has both informed you and inspired you. The story of our past is very much a story of tobacco. It's very much a story of what the Torano family is all about. And as much as I'm inspired by our past, I'm also motivated and challenged by our future. And you may have heard at some point my dad in the video, and it's something he says around the office all the time. He says, Charlie, I'm the present past and you're the present future. And I'd like to put a little twist on that and say, I'm not the present future, Dad. The people watching this video and all of our cigar smokers are the present future. So the rest of the Torano story is still left to be told. It'll be told by you, it'll be told by all the consumers all around the world and cigar smokers that hopefully enjoy our product and can relate and appreciate what we're trying to do. So we love what we do. We appreciate you taking the time to listen a little bit to what we're about, and we want to thank you. So we invite you to share the Torano experience with us as the story continues to be told by you. Thanks. Let's do it, Pops.
Thank
Hey, love you, Pops.
you. Love you.